Now, in the following passages from the Qur'an, we introduce the concept of stages in human development. And this first verse was the first one that was shown to me. And you can read that there. God created man from a quintessence of clay. He then placed him as a nutfa, a droplet, in a place of settlement, firmly fixed. Then we make the nutfa into an alaka, a leech-like structure, and then he changed the alaka into a mudga, a chewed-like substance. Then we made out of that mudga isam, I can't read too well here, skeleton, and then we clothed the bones with muscles. Then we caused him to grow, and then we came into bone, into being, and attained the definitive human form. So blessed be God, the best to create. This is from one of the surahs. So, and we have the next one, I believe, that shows this is the Islamic. Now, this are the stages that we found in the Qur'an, and it's taken a lot of study and discussion to arrive at the meaning of these stages. The first one is the nutfa, or the drop stage, and then the second is the klaq, or shaping stage, and then the nasha, or the growth stage. Now, the proposed system is clear, it's comprehensive, and conforms with present embryological knowledge. And it's our hope that this terminology can be introduced internationally. But if nothing more, at least the Muslim science students can realize that the stages that we talk about in our embryology textbooks are the same. It's just that they have different names. Now, the principles for the terminology then, that they be descriptive of appearance, and that they reflect the processes occurring, and that they be avoid ambiguous beginning and an end. In other words, they should be clear as to what these stages refer to. And this was actually the first verse that was ever read to me when I was in Saudi Arabia, and I'd never, I knew that the Qur'an existed, but I'd never read it before. And when they asked me what this verse meant to me, I said, well, it was obvious. It makes you in the wombs of your mother, which is the uterus, of course. Womb is simply English translation of the Latin uterus, in your mother's in stages. So here is talking about stages, which is similar to what Hippocrates and Aristotle had talked about, one after another in three veils of darkness. Then I was asked what this three veils of darkness might be, and it occurred to me that it might be, as I've indicated here in these slides, that the first veil of darkness around this developing human would probably be the anterior abdominal wall, that is the skin, muscles, and so on around the mother, forming the wall, anterior wall of the mother's abdomen. Two, I thought, would be the wall of the uterus, the organ which contains the embryo, and then inside that uterus we have other membranes which we call the amnion and the chorion, and we combine that because they fuse together. We call it the amniochorionic membrane. Now, this was my initial interpretation of this, and I've heard many different other interpretations of what these veils of darkness are, and I don't suppose we will ever know exactly what that verse meant. But this interpretation has been accepted by some of the prominent embryologists around the world. And I have invited my friends, as mentioned, Dr. Johnson from Jefferson Medical College, Dr. Prasad from Winnipeg, Dr. Edwards from Cambridge, who some of you remember Steptoe and Edwards. Dr. Edwards were the first ones to produce a baby in vitro, and little Louise Brown was the first one, and Dr. Edwards agreed with our interpretations of this. So, and then we went on and studied other verses. Now this shows the description of the mother and the relationship, the mother to the conceptus. Conceptus is simply the developing embryo plus the membranes that are around it, and that is the nutfa is the related to the conceptus, and these other stages referring to the uterus and so on. These are all terms that are in the Qur'an. And we then placed him as a nutfa, or a drop, in a place of settlement firmly fixed. When I was asked what this would mean, I obviously thought of the settlement or implantation of the early human embryo, which we call a blastocyst, into the lining of the uterus.